Good day. Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Mayapack Schools. Eric Rose, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. And Anthony, good seeing you again.
Same here, Eric. Thank you.
Schools are open virtually in the Mayapack schools. How are things going?
Interesting. They're going, and I know that there's a lot of people that are upset for the fact that we had to start remote. And in my correspondence over the last number of weeks, as I had mentioned, we have to make sure we have enough staff for our kids to be successful and being able to bring them into the hybrid model. And as a result of some of the hard work, I think we're getting there. This Friday, in my update, the community will see the plan when we're going to start bringing kids back. We're going to try to do it in a very smart way and do it in a way that allows us to do it, to be able to look at things, to make sure that we can bring everybody back by October 5th, and that's what we're planning to do. With that being said, part of the struggle, not just here at Mayapack, but throughout the lower Hudson Valley, is as we're trying to fill the gaps. And what does that mean? There's a couple of things. First of all, as you know, we have teachers who are putting in for accommodations because they truly have some underlying health concerns where they cannot be back in school. And so then we have to take a look at if they can teach remotely from home, which means then we have to have coverages for those classes to supervise the kids while the teachers are remoting in. Second piece, we have teachers that are taking the FCPR, the Family Leave Act, that are taking it during the course of the year, which they are entitled to. And then we have to work on those teachers as to what days they may be in or not, whether they're going to be teaching remote or coming in at all, and then what that looks like for, again, coverages. So what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks is making sure that we have enough bodies to have with our students when we go back to that hybrid model. We've worked hard. Our Assistant Superintendent, Deborah Legato, is working closely with the building principals to see exactly what each building needs. I know I've been working very closely with the President of the Union, Tom McMahon, and we're working together to try to make sure that we have all that information in so that we can look at what we need and get the kids back in. We're also working on trying to be creative with some of our providers to be able the possibility of having some availability for teachers to be able to use a service in the town and in the community to be able to drop their kids off so that they can come in to work on those days. So we are really working hard in a variety of areas to try to get back to that hybrid model and do it in a manner that we're going to be successful. The worst thing I could do, Eric, is to say, okay, we're going to do it, but not have everything lined up. Then the parents would even get more upset and become more frustrated with what that may or may not be. So we're working hard at it. I know that I'm hearing, well, Mr. DiCarlo, other districts are opening. Why aren't we? We're there. And on Friday, I'll be releasing what that looks like and what we're able to do. But one of the other big issues, whether we like this or not, there's only a certain amount of people available to hire for leave replacements or coverages. We're all competing around the lower Hudson Valley for substitutes, for TAs, for monitors. And in the teaching profession, it's well known to everybody, the last 3 to 5 years, kids are not going into teaching. So the pool itself doesn't have a lot of people in it. So that's really the struggle. I know it's not something that the community wants to hear, but that really is the reality, and we're working hard to make sure we can cover. Now remember, that's not to say on a day where teachers are out sick. And so that's another issue that I need the public to understand. This year there are going to be ups and downs, and let me explain, Eric. About a month and a half ago, I brought this up with Shanna Siegel. She's one of the people who heads up the Department of Health.
Epidemiologist.
Yes, and I said to Shana, listen, there's a problem with these symptoms because if we don't really adjust what the symptoms are and what then kicks in testing, we're going to have people and teachers out every day. Because, Eric, right now, and there has not been a change, right now, if you come into school or you put down that you have a cough or a sniffle or a variety of other things going on, you have to then go to the doctor, get a note, and then have a COVID test. So whether you're a student or a teacher, you have to then wait for that test to come back. We're talking about days. So what we're asking for the New York State Department of Health to do is to better clarify what that means. Is it a temperature and a symptom, rather than just a normal symptom that a lot of us have, that we've had all our lives, but because it could be a symptom of COVID, it's becoming very problematic. So, we're talking about getting kids in, but unless some of these other things are changed, it makes it very, very difficult, and there are going to be ups and downs throughout the course of the year.
We're at Mahopac High School today, and in the entrance to the high school, the SRO is there, and there is a new device that actually takes your temperature. Well, Superintendent DiCarlo just went through it himself.
So this is really important. So as you can see, what's going to happen when we go to the hybrid model and welcome students back, there are going to be entrances both here and in the back of the building that will have that actual device that'll screen students, or we're going to have handheld thermometers. So every student that comes in will be temperature screened every day, which is a really great layer to make sure that everybody's healthy, as well as having the students do that screener every day. That will help us as a double mitigation to try to the best of our ability to keep our environment as safe as possible. And then the teachers every day will be doing their own screenings with their temperature checks and then listing whether or not they have a symptom or not. So we're really working hard. It'll be in every building. The front entrance will have it. And the high school, I believe, also the back when the students come in from the cars. And then we'll have the sides when they come in their buses in the morning that they'll be screened, and then they'll come into the building.
Is this an extra cost to the school, or is the state picking up the tab?
Eric, as I've been stating literally for months, it's in every one of my updates. And I know people are upset and angry, okay? And I get it. I understand it. But this is just the amount of money we're spending on COVID to be able to get our schools open with a 20% cut all across our lines. This is a major issue. And I've been telling the public, this is not about politics anymore. I don't care whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or whatever. We need to get monies, okay? Even if it's a start to get something from the federal government would be very, very helpful to schools, not just Mahopac, but across the country, to help us defray those costs. Because, Eric, we also have the dilemma of this 20% cut in all our state aid numbers. It is over a $6 million cut for us. Now, the public has been asking, but Mr. DiCarlo, didn't you save money last year because you didn't have the buses running and you didn't have things going on? But if you remember last year, we paid our people throughout. We didn't have buses running. However, the savings that we did see in bus transportation and gas and whatever, we rolled over into this year's budget, okay, as reserve funds. So we've already taken those monies to defray the current budget that was, passed by the public. And so it's really important for them to understand that. And if we don't get that help, and this is not just here, this is happening. I just heard today, Rhinebeck, Newburgh are laying off hundreds of TAs, of monitors, because of the problem with the state budget. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to intend to do that. But we got to get some help someplace along the way.
So once again, contact your Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, U.S. Senators Chuck Schumer, Kristen Gillibrand. Contact even the state officials, the assembly people, the state senators, and urge them to pressure Washington. We have to get that money for public education.
And I want to be clear to that, and please understand this again. It shouldn't be about politics. It should be what's best for kids. We need the money now. As far as the New York State bailout and whatever goes, that could be down the road. We have money available now. Let's tap into that money now, and then we can have that other conversation down the road. And that's part of the problem. It is now about politics, and I don't like to talk about it, but that's the reality. And who's suffering? The kids are suffering, the staff is suffering, and the community is suffering. That's a big, big concern and issue of mine, and that's why every week in my mailer home and by that we send out, we have the importance of getting rallied to be able to do that. Now, on a positive note, we are going to be offering sports starting September 29th. I did mention to you there were, last spotlight, there were questions about it. We're offering it in field hockey for the girls, that's varsity and JV, soccer, both boys and girls, varsity and JV, cross country, and girls tennis. So those will be the sports that we're offering. The sports that they deferred to what they call, fall season 2 next March are going to be football, competitive cheer, and volleyball. Now, again, try to follow this, everybody. This is what New York State's doing. I'm hearing a lot of, again, student athletes who are upset and say, Mr. DiCarlo, but in Connecticut and New Jersey, they're playing football, they're playing volleyball. Again, these are the directives that we have to work under, and we're going to do the best that we possibly can. So September 29th, if you're out there and you haven't gotten on the sports portal yet to register, please make sure you do that. A season will start on September 29th.
And the football, and you say the others will start in the end of March.
Yeah, beginning of March they'll be starting, and we'll be updating you on what that looks like. For right now, I'm New York State's looking at it as if these are outside sports that are not what they call high risk, you'll be okay to play. I cannot tell you what's going to happen in the winter because we have inside sports. That's something yet to be determined by the state, but we're going to try our hardest to take a look at that. Calendar. So as you can imagine at home, the calendar that we originally had was based on, possibility of us being open fully. So a lot of our dates have to be changed because now everything's virtual. So we're getting the building principals to work on that. We'll be sending the calendar home at least from September to December. We want to then wait for the second half of the year to see if something's changed with the pandemic and we can allow more people in and we can do some of these things, in person. But for right now, the guidance really is to the best of your ability. Try to do a lot of these get-togethers virtually.
Who ever thought in your wildest dream, you've been in education a long time, that even a school calendar can't be printed during the beginning of the year?
Because there's so many things that are changing every day. And, and to the Mahopac community, I thank you for your support and patience. I know this is not easy. We've never, ever been through this before. And the key words are about flexibility and adaptability. Every day is going to be different. Every week may be different. And I get it. I understand it. We want to try to get back to normal, but we're not living in a normal time. And the frustration, I get it. It's palpable. But we want to make sure we're providing a safe environment, a healthy environment, and that we want to get our kids back. I reiterate this again. I know, the union, myself, and Tom have been working closely together to try to make this happen. And Friday, trying to get it out earlier than later, getting you an update on actually what we're doing, how we're doing it, when we're doing it, and getting our students back to school.
We'll be back in a week from now to talk about what?
Well, next week we're going to have Dr. Stowell talk about health and safety and about some of these protocols and what we're doing as we welcome students back. And then Mr. Tremblay, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, will talk about what that hybrid model will look like as we welcome kids back to school.
Okay. As they say, stay tuned. You've been watching an edition, one of many this fall, of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. I'm Eric Gross. We thank you for joining us. Staj, thank you, sir. Until next time, have yourselves a safe week, a good week. Anthony and I will be back with more. Have yourselves a good one. Bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.k12.ny.us.